food is chicken. Okay, Nachitende Alaisa.
My favorite food is KFC and Cafe Java's.
Please be specific. Cafe Java's has a very wide menu. What is it exactly that you like there?
The salads. The salads there.
The salad. Okay. Nachitende likes the salad. Natalie, your hand is up and you're very happy this morning. What is your favorite food?
My favorite food is lasagna with a blueberry milkshake. My favorite food is chicken lollipops and with an
So she loves lasagna.
Yes. And this is Edie.
Chicken lollipops with what?
With
Yes,
a
Edith.
Nutella milkshake. Look at that.
With a Nutella milkshake.
Yes.
All right. Manzi Pish, what is food?
My favorite food is pork and honey popcorns with a strawberry milkshake.
Milkshake. Okay. To see Belinda.
Mine is Indian food, but the specific menu is chicken fried rice with garlic naan.
Okay, chicken fried rice with garlic naan. Thank you, Belinda. Mukoda, Paula.
My favorite food is rice with cowpeas with a caramel milkshake.
Rice and cowpeas. Okay, lastly, we are going to have Karunji Shiba and Joweria Mariam. So Karunji, you go first. Then we have Joweria, and that will be it. Yes, Shiba.
My favorite food is fried rice and fish stew.
Okay, fried rice.
And fish stew.
And fish stew. All right. Lastly, we are going to have Joweria Mariam.
This one,
Joweria? Anisha Kadu, please mute. Please mute your microphone. Joweria? Yes, Joweria Mariam. What is your favorite food? I'm not able to hear you. I think you need to either put your volume up and Shiba, please lower your hand. Okay. Now that we know everyone's favorite food, I hope you actually, if you needed to eat that food, are able to prepare it. Okay. So if we are looking at food, how do we prepare food? How do we prepare the different kinds of food? What are those different words we can use if we want to tell someone that we are going to prepare a certain food? So can you please identify the different ways of cooking or preparing food? Marilyn, your hand is up. Yes, Marilyn.
We have deep frying.
We have deep frying. So ways in which to prepare food. And Marilyn has given us our first answer, which is deep frying. So do we agree that you can deep fry or shallow fry?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Now, Samba Amira, your hand is up.
Roasting.
Okay, Amira says we can roast. Thank you. Right. Achen, Sidonia, your hand is up.
By baking.
Sorry.
Baking.
Be louder, please.
Baking.
Baking. Okay. So some foods can be baked. Okay. Natalie, your hand is up, or is it Edith? Whose hand is up? I see two faces and one hand.
Natalie.
Natalie's, yes.
Steaming.
Steaming, good. Steam, we can steam. Joella, your hand is up. What is your answer?
Boiling.
Boiling, very good. Ira, your hand is up.
They took my
Beja
answer.
Ira.
They took my answer.
Someone took your answer.
Yes.
Oh dear. But some to see me Belinda. Belinda, your hand is up.
Searing.
Sorry.
SEORING.
SEO.
Teacher, it's SEA.
Belinda. Is that what you mean?
Yes, teacher.
Okay. Nicole, your hand is up.
Grilling. We can grill food. Grilling.
Grilling, yes. Okay. Any other? Agapa Franklin.
What about roasting?
Yeah, roasting, yes.
About slow cooking.
Yes, we have that at number 2. I hope you can see my screen.
Yes,
Shiba
teacher.
Karun, your hand is up.
Teacher.
Slow cooking.
Okay, what is your answer?
My answer was slow cooking.
Your answer was?
Slow cooking.
Teacher, I have an answer.
Nicole, is your hand still up, or do you need to lower it? Nicole? Nagadia, what is your answer?
Blending. Blending.
Nagadia,
Yes.
blending. If you're going to make a drink, a smoothie, Nabidye?
Teacher, there is also like poaching.
Nabidye?
Teacher, there is like
There's
poaching.
poaching, yes. You can poach an egg. Your hand is up.
Smoking.
Smoking. Very good. You can smoke. Rana.
I just said smoking.
Smoking.
I'm the one
Okay.
that gave smoking.
Okay. Ataho patient.
Microwaving.
Yes, patient.
Microwaving.
Waving. We can. Okay, Shifa.
Freezing.
Freezing. If you're preparing food, we can freeze. Please give an example of something that we need to freeze in order to eat it.
Ice cream.
Ice cream. So when you prepare it, if you don't freeze it, you won't actually have. Very good. Belinda, you already gave your answer.
Yes.
You see me, Belinda.
Yes, teacher, I already gave my answer.
You already gave your answer? Or your hand
Yes.
is up?
I lowered
I
it.
see Misan, your hand is up. What is your answer?
Testing.
Toasting. Okay, so we can toast. Okay. Najinda, your hand is up. What is your answer?
Sorry, I just forgot it up. I just wanted to say smoking, but then they had said it.
Oh, someone took your answer. Okay. Karunji, did you forget your hand?
No, I have another way. Slow cooking it.
Okay. That you've given, we have a very wide range of ways in which to cook, depending on what we want to cook.
Teacher, I have one more.
Hope that we are able. One more?
Yes,
okay.
Najinda, my son. There is deglazing.
Let's have that one more.
There is deglazing. It's like a flavor boosting technique. Yes, deglazing.
Give us
it's
example.
DEGL. Like when you flavor boost something. Like how do I explain? Okay, it's like flavor boosting something that creates a sauce by adding cold liquid.
That creates.
Yes.
By adding cold
liquid.
Okay. All right. And Pish, your hand is up.
Teacher,
Do you have an
pressure
answer, or you just forgot to put it down?
pressure cooking, I think.
Using pressure.
Yeah.
Using pressure will go, may actually go under boil. We may boil, but using pressure. So that is a subset of boil. Okay, thank you very much. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, teacher.
Right.
It's very clear.
So it's very clear. Yes, so you can see that we actually have a variety of ways in which to prepare the different kinds of food. Now, when you're preparing food, or if you're instructing someone to prepare food, it is very important for you to give them the correct directions so that they're able to prepare exactly what you're telling them to prepare. So this is done in what we call a recipe. A recipe. So a recipe is that list of instructions that gives direction on how to prepare a particular dish. That is what a recipe is. So before you prepare something, you must have a recipe and you must follow the recipe. Why must we follow a recipe to the letter? Why is it important for us to follow a recipe to the letter? Yes, Mary.
From my experience, if you don't follow a recipe, the dish you'll be cooking won't come out the same way the other person has cooked it. If they told you 2 tablespoons of salt and you put 4, your food will be too salty. And if they told you again 2 tablespoons and you put a half,
Okay.
it won't have enough salt. That's why.
Okay. So you follow a recipe so that the food comes out tasting and looking exactly as it is meant to. Okay. Kaihura Hannah, you want to add to that?
We follow a recipe so that to know the steps that are taken while preparing the food.
In order to what?
We follow a recipe in order to know the steps taken while preparing.
Yes, Hannah, I didn't quite get you.
We follow a recipe to know the steps taken while preparing a certain kind of food.
We follow a recipe to know the steps that are taken when preparing a particular dish. So when we are preparing a dish, the steps flow in a particular process, and we have to follow this process or this method of cooking. Thank you, Hannah. Najenda.
Without a recipe, it would be difficult for the person who is cooking to know which exact ingredients to put in a certain meal. So it like enables a person who is cooking to know which specific ingredients to be put in that particular meal, and also to know the right amount of each.
Thank you very much. So in order to know the specific quantity of ingredients to use in order to get that dish, we must follow a recipe. Okay. And Elijah, Johan.
Teacher, it's important to follow a recipe to make a certain dish pleasant to eat.
To make a certain dish?
To make a certain dish pleasant to eat.
To make it pleasant to eat. Okay, so it will be pleasant because you've managed to get all the ingredients that you need. Yes, I have a hand up from Nabisunza Girls. I'm awaiting your answer.
A recipe is a list of direction to do anything or something, like as in cooking.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your answer. Achen Sidonia, your hand is up. Would like to hear your answer.
Okay, so teacher, like if it's someone's time to cook, like if it's your first time cooking and you follow a recipe, it helps you to decrease your chances of error when cooking.
Sidonia, please be clearer.
I'm saying that if it's your first time cooking and you have a recipe, it helps you to decrease your chances of error when cooking.
If you follow a recipe, then you're decreasing your chances of error. Thank you very much. And lastly, Angela Nanzi.
Teacher, I think it's important to have a recipe in order to budget the ingredients you're going to use, because if you just start cooking without a recipe, you'll find that you don't have some ingredients. And if you have prepared a recipe, you can plan on what you're going to use.
Very good, Angela. A recipe helps you have a certain list of ingredients. You know the exact amount of ingredients ready before you start cooking. So a recipe helps you to plan. Now, what does a recipe look like?
I.
Marilyn.
So what you'll find in a recipe, you'll find the ingredients first. And in most cases, you also find how much of the ingredients will be used in that recipe. You'll find all the steps to make that particular dish. And sometimes they will even personally advise you, I would put this at the end if it was needed or anything like that. That's what you'd find in a recipe.
Okay, very good. Akampumuza?
A recipe is like a list of the items that are prepared in order to cook like a meal. Like they bring for you the items that are used, and also they put there the quantity that you're supposed to put in. And that's what I know. That's what I know in what a recipe is like. And also it has also the instructions.
Okay, thank you very much, and you're right. And lastly, Grace, the instructions. Very good, and you're right. Grace?
Excuse me, teacher. This is English or nutrition because I joined late, so I'm not sure.
This is English. In English, we teach you how to write. We give you instructions. So part instructions is a recipe, which food. So this is English, but also please note that as we are studying, our subjects are integrated. So that is why you see that even in English, we can look at sections of food and nutrition. Okay. Najinda.
A recipe is something that has a particular amount of like a various category of food, and its specific amount to be put in a certain in a certain meal. For example, when on that lemon cake recipe, there is lemon juice and grated rind of one small lemon. They require us to use grated, not cut or anything else. And it also has the method, a particular method, and each step you take while putting in food.
Okay, thank you very much. So I have a sample recipe here, and as we are writing our recipe, first of all, we have to know that the name of the food that we are going to prepare. And in this case, we are looking at preparing a lemon cake. So you have to identify right away so that when someone sees the list of ingredients, they know that these ingredients are meant to prepare a certain food. So we're looking at a recipe for a lemon cake, and we have a list of ingredients here. The first one is sugar. We have a specific amount, 100 of sugar. Then we have lemon juice and grated rind of one small lemon. So the rind to be grated, and should be a small lemon, not a big lemon, because if it's very big, then probably the taste will differ from what the person wants us to do. We also have margarine, and the quantity is 100 grams. We are going to use 1 egg. We are going to use flour and 200 grams of it. Then a little milk, and then 2 teaspoons of baking powder. So in a recipe, take note that we have the quantities given to us. Some are in grams, others are in quantity using a teaspoon. So we need to take note of that. Then, having identified the ingredients, we are given a method. When we have all these ingredients, what do we do with them? So we have a method. Grace Zawede, can you take us through method 1, 2, and 3? Grace Zawede, can you take us through method 1, 2, and 3?
Okay. Sieve the flour, salt, and baking powder into a bowl. That's method 1. Method 2, rub in the fat until the mixture is like fine bread crumbs. Method 3, add the sugar and lemon rind.
Okay, so when we get our ingredients, first of all, we have to sieve the flour with salt and baking powder and put it into a bowl. As we are cooking, we must have a bowl and we start with these dry ingredients. Having done that, we rub in the fat until the mixture is like fine crumbs, and then we add the sugar and lemon. And I hope you realize that the instructions are very clear. Instructions have to be very clear, and in order to give these instructions in the method clear, we have to use the verb, the action words. What exactly that you're going to do? So we use the action word, rub, add. So after that, can I have Aliyah Nagawa reading for us method 4 and 5?
Add the beaten egg, lemon juice. Add the beaten egg, lemon juice, and sufficient milk to mix to as dressing consistency.
Okay, So add the beaten egg, then lemon juice, and sufficient milk to mix to as dropping consistency. So when you add the milk, your consistency or whatever you're mixing should be too watery. It should not hard. The consistency instructions also make it clear on the type of mixture that you're supposed to have. Then 5, Ambedra Ira, can you take us to method 5?
Put into the prepared tin and bake.
Ira, method 5.
Put into the prepared tin and bake in the center of a fairly moderate oven, 180 degrees Celsius for approximately a half hours.
Okay, thank you. So having mixed the ingredients together and gotten them to the right consistency, we also have to take it to the next level. So the consistency is put in a prepared tin and we are supposed to bake. So the cooking method in this case is baking. So in an oven, and we are also told the cooking time, which is 1.5 hours, and the appropriate heat. So it has to be 180. If it is lower, you may not get your lemon cake coming out the same way, or if it is higher, you will not get the right cake coming out. So you have to follow the cooking instructions that are given in the recipe. So the heat is 180 degrees and the cooking time is 1.5 hours. And you've also been given the location where to place your cake in the center of a fairly moderate oven. So don't put on the side, don't put at the back, don't put at the front, but put right in the center. So after cooking for these 1.5 hours, you allow the cake to cool slightly in the tin and then turn onto a wire tray. So if we are making a lemon cake, that is what we are supposed to do. Those are our instructions, or that is our recipe. I hope you have written down that recipe. Have you written down that recipe?
Yes.
Natalie, have you written down the recipe?
Yes, teacher.
Yes. Okay.
May you
That
please
is
scroll
good.
up to the to the ingredients?
Some people have not been writing. I have caught you. I think that gives us a full picture.
Yes, teacher.
Yes,
teacher.
I'm giving you 2 minutes. 2 minutes to very quickly and very neatly write that down. But I hope you know the date today and that you have written it down. We have to be organized and know when we have done this work. So please write down the date, then write down this sample recipe. If you can make this heading, how to prepare a lemon cake, I would be very happy with you. How to prepare a lemon cake. Marilyn, are you muted? said bone. I've given you enough time. So we looked at that recipe. It's a lemon cake. And when we are making a lemon cake, I think the most common method is to bake. There are other methods, I think. Alia, your hand is up. What is your question?
In the ingredients, there is no salt, but on method 1, they are saying sieve the flour, salt, and baking powder into a bowl. Now, what is the measurement of salt?
Sorry?
In the ingredients, there is no salt or any measurement, but in the method, they are saying sieve the flour, salt, and baking powder into a bowl. Now, we don't have any measurement for salt. That's my question.
Don't have a measurement for salt. Oh, sorry, oversight. Can you add a pinch of salt after that baking powder? And you taking note of that?
Thank you, teacher.
I'm still even already there.
Okay, second recipe there. This time we're looking at frying. We're looking at frying. Let me see. Isabella and Gabriela. Isabella and this recipe.
Fried chicken, 2 chicken wings or thighs, a slice of fresh tamarind, a clove of garlic, a slice of ginger, half teaspoon of cumin, half teaspoon of coriander, half teaspoon of salt, and oil for deep frying.
Okay, thank you. Was that Gabriela or Isabella? Right. So
The methods are wash the chicken pieces and drain well, pound the ingredients, spread the pounded ingredients on the chicken pieces together with the salt, leave aside for 10 minutes, heat the oil in a frying pan and shallow fry the chicken wings until cooked and golden brown in color, drain or kitchen paper. Arrange on a plate, garnish with sliced tomato and cucumber, serve hot with rice or potatoes.
Serve hot with rice or potatoes. Okay. So this time we have a recipe which requires us to fry, and we are frying chicken. It is your choice to either do wings or thighs. We are given the spices to use: a slice of turmeric, a clove of garlic, a slice of ginger, half teaspoon of cumin, 1 teaspoon of coriander, half teaspoon of salt, and then the oil. So we have the quantities clearly stated out in our list of ingredients. And then when we get to the method, I hope you've also taken note of the verbs. Yes.
Are we supposed to do these recipes, or they are just samples?
At the end of the day, I'm going to give you an assignment that requires you to write a recipe. So if you have not written down the sample recipe, you may forget something, especially on the structure. So it's important that you write down the sample recipe in your book.
Okay.
So please remember that as we are giving the method, because we are instructing someone on an action to do, we have to use action words. Those are what we call verbs, doing words. So wash, pound, spread, eat, fry, arrange. So as you're giving the instruction, you must use a verb in order to instruct the person that you're giving this recipe, and they are able to come up with exactly what you want them to come out with. So you can also write down this recipe. The title should be How to Prepare Fried Chicken. How to prepare fried chicken. How to prepare fried chicken.
Excuse me, teacher, could you please repeat the question?
I actually have not given a question, but I have requested you to write down this recipe, which is on the screen, and is how to prepare fried chicken. How to prepare fried chicken. And then you write down this list of ingredients as you see them appear here. Okay. Have we finished?
That is the only one I can understand. Mo.
Have we finished?
Not yet.
No.
Okay.
Not yet.
Please write neatly.
Yes.
In our chemistry book.
It's not chemistry.
It's English.
The parents are joking. No.
Okay, so Nanyunga, your hand is up, my dear.
Teacher, I think there is an error on 5 because it's like I'm seeing Gamish instead of Ganish. On Roman 5.
On a Friday.
Sorry? What
On
does it
Roman
say?
5. On Roman 5, isn't
Yes.
it Ganish, not Gamish?
No, it's GAR. Correct.
It's
Oh, I
garnish.
had
Garnish. Garnish.
I had seen like as if it was an M altogether.
No. It's an N. R and N next to each other.
Excuse me, teacher.
Chemistry.
Okay. Yes.
Teacher, I was asking to put back the recipe of the lemon cake. I had not yet finished.
Okay, let's first ensure that people have finished.
So you're the last
teacher.
With this one, then I can put back the other one before we move on to the next thing. You're welcome. So please wind up.
Even me, I'm writing, but look at this handwriting. I'm going to do, I'm just hurrying.
Okay. Are we done?
Yes, teacher. Yes.
Yes, teacher, we are.
Teacher, we are still about.
Teacher, I'd like to tell Eliza that I sent her the work.
You're still about, or you're about to finish?
Hey, Marilyn, I've seen it. Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay. Someone requested that I go back to the previous recipe, and I'm going to do that.
It's okay.
It's okay. I sent her the work. I sent her the work.
Okay. All right. So, I have given a sample or an example of what a recipe should look like. So many of you coming up to tell me your favorite food. I want just 2 people to volunteer to give us a recipe, a sample recipe, cuts through it step by step. I've had one hand already. The first hand is up. I'm waiting for the second hand, and then we can start. Kenyanji is our second one. Marilyn was the first one. Kenyanji is our second one. So those are the two people that we're taking.
Okay, my recipe is meatballs. So you'll need 2 kgs of minced meat. You'll need salt, thyme.
So Marilyn, are you the one starting?
Yes.
Okay, before we go to salt.
The recipe
What
is
are we
for meatballs.
preparing?
Meatballs.
For meatballs, okay?
Yeah.
So we have a recipe
You need,
for meatballs. Please.
yes. So we need 2 kgs of minced meat.
Hold on so that the secretary can. So we must always have a heading. How to prepare meatballs. So we need our ingredients.
2 kgs of minced meat.
Sorry. Sorry.
2 kgs of minced meat.
What did you say?
2 kilograms of minced meat.
How much minced meat?
2 kilograms.
2 kilograms of minced meat. Okay.
We'll need 2 pinches of salt, or even, no, in fact, we need 2 tablespoons of salt.
Okay.
2 pinches of coriander.
Pinches?
Yes, pinches. Like there's the fresh coriander, then there's the one which is dried and like crushed.
The powder. So you want powder?
Yeah.
Or the fresh?
I'm using the
Fresh.
powder.
The powder.
Yeah.
Let's do 1 tablespoon.
Okay. So we'll also need 2 slices of ginger to give it some flavor.
Okay. 2 slices of ginger. Please allow me to correct you on that one, my dear girls. We said
Yes,
ginger and not ginger. Please take note of that.
Ginger.
Yes.
About 4 cloves of garlic because it's very strong.
We are taking 4 cloves of garlic.
We need Parmesan cheese. Then we need flour, all-purpose flour.
Yes, Marilyn.
We need Parmesan cheese.
How much?
Like 1 tablespoon.
How much?
Of Parmesan cheese. Then flour, we need like 500 grams. Parmesan has an I between an S and A. And then we'll need oil for deep frying because this one's the one which is for deep frying. Hello?
Sorry?
Oil for deep frying because there are 2 ways of making, either bake or you deep fry. This one is the one of deep frying.
This is time for deep frying.
Yeah.
How much?
Let's say
oil. How much?
2 liters, like.
Not so much.
Yeah, not so much. Either 1 or 2 liters, like what can fill the frying pan. Yeah, of oil.
Okay.
So we're going to the methods.
So what is our method?
So firstly, you're going to get a food processor and put in the 2 kgs of minced meat.
Sorry?
You'll get a food processor and put in the 2 kgs of minced meat.
What is our, why are we putting the two kgs? What
Then from that side, you'll set it aside.
do we want to do?
In a food processor, like
why are we putting
we
the
first
two,
have to
2
put it
kgs
in
of
a
minced
food processor
meat in the food
so that
processor?
like you can first let food settle down as you're doing other stuff in a food processor.
Yeah, I want
Like
to know
that's where you pour the other ingredient. You have to do it immediately. You first let the
what
meat rest a
verb are we
little.
using? Why? So is the food processor supposed to mince it? Is it supposed, what is it doing?
It's
but it's
to
already
mince it.
minced.
Okay,
Unless
it's to
you're
mix
saying
the ingredients. So that to mix the ingredients.
2 kilos of meat and then
Yeah.
we mince them in the processor.
Yeah.
So we are placing the 2 kilos of minced meat in a bowl.
Okay, for now. So you'll get a grind. Yeah, you'll get a grinder. You'll dice your onions, and then you will also dice your garlic. Put it in there and pour a little water. You can just do it like that, in case like sometimes the juice of the onion doesn't come out, so you add a little water just in case. So I think among the ingredients, we'll add some water.
So we are going to grind.
Yeah, the onions and the
Grind the
garlic.
ginger.
Onions and garlic. And garlic.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes. So you can now put
How
your
about the
mixed.
ginger?
Yeah, even the ginger as well. So you can now get your food processor, put in your minced meat, your grinded onions, garlic and ginger, and you can put in salt, coriander, and then that's the first mix before every other thing comes in.
So we are putting these ingredients that we've ground into the minced
food processor. Yeah.
Okay, so we've done that.
So we're going to put the food processor on so that we can mix the ingredients.
Okay.
So you're
We've
going to
done
let
that.
it mix for about 2 minutes.
Right.
From that point, you'll get it, and then you're adding the salt, coriander, Parmesan cheese, all-purpose flour. You mix it. That's the second mix.
Add the salt, Parmesan cheese,
coriander, and all-purpose flour. The reason why we're adding the flour is so that like it can hold, because if you don't put in flour, when you deep fry it, it will just melt, something like that.
To fall apart.
Yeah.
Okay, and all-purpose flour.
Flour. So after you let it mix for about
and we
2
are
minutes.
mixing for how long?
2 minutes as well.
Okay.
And then from that point on, you get it out, and then you put flour on the work surface. So that when you're making it into balls and you put it to set, it doesn't stick.
And then?
So from that point on, you can start making it into balls. You can start rolling them into balls. After that, you can deep fry it for some few minutes and then get a plate and serve it with any topping you want. When you're frying it, it has to be like brown, like kind of dark brown. Heat the oil.
Oil and deep fry until
it
you said
turns
golden brown?
Dark brown.
Dark until brown.
Yeah.
We are going to use moderate heat, because if you don't use moderate heat, you will not get it ready on the inside.
Yeah. Usually, if you use a lot of heat.
How long are we cooking for? How long are we cooking for?
For about 5 minutes. Because if you don't take time, it can, not get ready in the inside.
So about
5 minutes.
5 minutes until brown.
So you can get it out of the oil, put it on a plate, and top it up with and serve it with any topping you want. After it has cooled.
Okay. So when we get it off, what happens?
You can place it on a plate and add any topping the person wants.
Okay. So.
And add with a topping of your choice.
Can you give us an example of some of these toppings?
We can have salads and meatballs. I personally like salads a lot, so when we're making it home, we use salads or chips or anything, which would be a good match for it. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Okay. Now, class, we have received our sample from Mary. Will you be able to come out with nice, delicious meatballs?
Yes. Yes, teacher.
Yeah. Okay, now maybe one last thing that you need to include. You can see that Marilyn has prepared 2 kilograms are going to be served with 2 kilograms. If I want to prepare minced meat for 4 people, should I use 1 kilogram or 2? If I want to prepare for 20 people, so we need to include the number of people.
Per serving.
No, for this two
Okay.
kilograms of minced meat, how many people are going to be served? How many people will be able to eat this?
Like for this case,
Do you usually prepare this for
because
the
us we use like 1, but this case I was just creating it in my head, and I think about 8 or 9 people can fit here.
Okay, you use like 1 for how many people?
1 we use like for 5.
So we are going to say that this one serves for 5. So this one serves 10 people.
Yeah.
Serves 10. So please, we need to include the number of people so that when someone is preparing, they know that when I follow this recipe, I'll be able to cater for 10 people. But if I want to cater for 5, it means I'm going to use half of these ingredients. And if I want to cater for 20, then I must double the ingredients. So it's very important for you to indicate that, okay? Now, I want you to write down this assignment. Please write down this assignment. Are you ready?
Yes.
teacher.
Yes, we are
Yes,
ready.
teacher, we are ready.
Yes, teacher.
Yes, teacher.
We are ready.
Yes, teacher.
You can. You can. From where? Inside. They can. Yes, they do. Alright, go to your security. Love meeting and
So our activity, you are planning to hold a birthday party for your mother. 1, write a letter inviting your best friend. I think you remember that we taught you how to write a letter. Did we not?
Yes, teacher.
Inviting your best friend. Please remember to follow the instructions that we gave you on how to write a letter or an informal letter when you're doing this. Yes.
even if you're in the house, you don't, you just see yourself.
So you're going to write a letter inviting your best friend using adjectives and verbs of preference.
You're telling me not deleting, not going forward. No? No?
Okay, so the first activity requires you to write a letter inviting of preference to describe what you plan to do so as to make it a memorable function for your mother. That is the first activity. Then we have a second activity. Or second instruction, it says in the letter.
As you are moving into the interior, there is this forest. In this forest, there are woods, there are hostile, and there are favorable conditions in it. Okay, so what are you going to do?
I know your you just
Right, and avoid using the left, because on the left there are A, B, C, D, but there are favorable conditions there. So animals are not covered. As you are moving behind the lake, you can just move like about 5 kilometers equal to the lake. Then you'll find
you're going to write your own letter. You write your own letter.
Excuse me, teacher. The other recipe of preparing meatballs. Could I wanted to take a screenshot of it. I wanted to take a screenshot of it and I try making
the other recipe of preparing meatballs.
Yeah, I want to take a screenshot of it. Thank you. I'm done.
Are you done?
Yes, teacher.
Okay.
Put it back.
The cutting. Please respect our lesson and stop hanging.
Those will be my favorite days to visit me. Chance you get. Alright, me back.
Please unmute.
My favorite days.
Regina, unmute.
Regina,
Mute. Please listen carefully.
Regina, unmute.
Please listen carefully.
Unmute.
You have 3 assignments. For now, can we do only the first activity? Can we do only the first activity? Then after our next lesson, that is when I'll instruct you on numbers 2 and 3. So your assignment at the end of this lesson will be to answer question
1.
Excuse me, teacher. I'm not understanding.
So Josephine, you're the one who has been humming for us. Yes.
No.
You're going to answer question 1. Question 1, yes?
I thought
question 1 requires you to write a letter inviting your best friend using adjectives and verbs of preference to describe what you plan to do. What are you planning to do at this party? for your mother.
Yes,
so the first
that one I
activity
can
is time to
understand,
write.
but
Yes.
I thought we are going to include all these three in the letter.
But, sorry?
I thought we are going to include all these three in the
What is it that
letter.
you don't understand?
Like the first one I've understood.
I have requested you to only answer number one. Please answer only number one.
Okay.
Okay.
Is that clear, my girls?
Yes, teacher. So we'll answer the rest later, another time.
Let's focus on number one for now. Yes, after our next lesson, that's when I'll give you further instructions.
Okay.
People have their hands up. What do you want to say? Shamsa, is your hand up? Marilyn, your hand is up. What do you want to say? Hey, I'm Khalid. Your hand is up. Do you have any questions before I call it a day?
No, teacher, I don't.
Some of us had just wanted to give a recipe, but then we have gotten our hands up.
There wasn't enough time. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. I hope you can get to write your recipe as an answer to our assignment for next week.
Excuse me, teacher.
So thank you for being an this is it for today. Yes. Yes.
We can use any address. How we use the school address.
Yes, Favor. You can use any address because you're writing to your best friend. You know your school address. That is the one that you must use. And then you have, this is a friendly letter. We have only one address. So your school address. If you're not using your school address, then you can choose to use your home address if you have one.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for being a good class. I will see you, talk to you again next week. Please, we are doing in future.
Thank you, teacher, for teaching us.
Thank you,
Thank you
teacher,
very
for
much.
teaching
Thank
us.
you,
Thank you
Lydia.
for the lesson. Bye.
Good. Bye.
Thank you,
Bye,
teacher.
Habiba. Nice breakfast, teacher. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you, teacher.
Bye.
Thank you, teacher, for the lesson.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye,
everyone.
teacher.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, Shifa. Bye, hello.
Bye, teacher. Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Bye, Hadija.
Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. Bye, teacher. Bye, guys.
Bye, Adimo. Bye.
Shalom, bye everyone. Let me see the chat.
Bye, Ankunda.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, Linnell. Jose. What's wrong with Jose? Bye, Vivian. Vivian, what's wrong with that Jose?
Guys,
She said, but
you even go for training.
bye, Sidonia. Vivian, do you
Bye.
Yes, I do.
Bye, Jose.
Bye, Sidonia.
Hi, Vivian, Rebecca.
What's wrong with people? Bye, Sheila and Kun.
Bye, Joyce.
Jaja.
Yes.
Please stop
Jaja.
recording. Give me the lesson. Stop recording.
This one wrote in her chemistry book. No.
Whatever in the food and nutrition book.
Jaja. Jose. Yes.
Josephine.
What are you still doing here?
Yes. How are you?
Bye.
Fine. How are you?
The host never ended the meeting out here.
And it's end for all.
Mira.
Okay.
End.
Bye.
End meeting for all.
Hey, why is your hand